Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe Hoops with your boy, Nicky P. You don't know what it is, man. So let's dive right into it, man. Look at this. Take a mental snapshot of an NBA game from, say, circa 1985. What do you envision? What do you see? You see a towering, hulking center, planted firmly in the paint, his back to the basket. You see a power forward, strong and physical, battling for rebounds within a few feet of the rim. You see a small forward cutting and shooting from mid-range. You see a shooting guard whose primary job is, as the name implies, to shoot the rock. And you see a PG, a point guard, the smallest man on the court, dribbling, distributing, and running the offense. Now fast forward to a game from circa 2024, just last year. What do you see? You see a 7'4" French phenom, Victor Wembanyama, bringing the ball up court, pulling up for a three-pointer, and then on the very next possession, swatting a shot into the third row. You see a 6'11" Slovenian maestro, Nikola Jokic, orchestrating the offense from the high post, throwing no-look passes at the 5 physics. You see a 6'11" young cat in Chet Holmgren, stretching the floor with the shooting while protecting the rim like a seasoned veteran. The player has evolved dramatically. Today, we're going to trace this evolution. We'll explore the rigid size-based origins of basketball positions, deconstruct the forces that shattered those old models, and ask the critical question: where do we go from here? Is the era of the positionless, do-it-all superstar the final form of basketball, or are we on the cusp of another revolution? Let's start at the beginning. Where did this idea that your height and body type automatically designate your position come from? The origin is surprisingly literal. It's written into the very DNA of the sport. Dr. James Naismith, when he invented the game in 1891, nailed his peach baskets to the balcony of a gymnasium. The hoop was 10 feet high. From day one, the objective was to put the ball in the basket that was up there. It was a simple, inescapable truth of physics. All else being equal, a taller player has a distinct advantage in achieving this goal. Thus, the biggest player was stationed closest to the basket. His job was simple: score from close range and rebound the rock. This was the birth of the center. As the game formalized, this logic became codified. The narrative and trend of thinking that was born from pure utility. You needed a big man to control the paint. You needed smaller, quicker players to handle the ball and navigate tight spaces, as dribbling was more rudimentary and the game was more compact. For decades, this was simply the most efficient way to play. The center was the anchor. The power forward was the enforcer. The small forward was the all-around swing man. The shooting guard was the scorer, and the point guard was the floor general. This system produced legendary, almost mythological archetypes. Think of unstoppable low-post forces like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the skyhook. Think of bruise and power of Moses Malone, devouring offensive rebounds and jamming the ball, almost tearing rims down. Their size was their identity, and their position was their destiny. But even with the rigid structure, there were revolutionaries, outliers who hinted at a different type of future. The most profound was Magic Johnson. Drafted in 1979, Magic was listed as 6'9". By the old rules, he was a power forward, maybe even a center. But Magic had the vision of a point guard and the handle to match. In one of the most iconic moments in NBA history, as a rookie, he started at center for an injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Game 6 of the NBA Finals and proceeded to play every single position, dropping 42 points, 15 boards, and 7 assists en route to winning a championship. It was a seismic event. Magic proved that size and position were not irrevocably linked. He was a category of one, a unicorn before we had them. So what changed? How did we go from a world of defined roles to the positionless chaos we see today? Two interconnected forces: the analytical revolution and the global talent pool. First, the analytics. In the early 2000s, spurred by pioneers like Daryl Morey in Houston, the league began to get consumed by data. And the data screamed one thing over and over again: the most efficient shot in basketball is not the long two-point jumper, but the three-pointer and the shot at the rim. The mid-range game was deemed inefficient by a whole bunch of guys who never played the game and never practiced putting up shots by themselves in the gym to master a craft. This Morey ball philosophy, famously adopted by the 2010 Golden State Warriors, changed everything. If the most valuable shot is the three, then every player on the floor should be a threat to take it. The old model of a non-shooting center clogging the paint became a liability. The demand was now for stretch fours and stretch fives, big men who could shoot from outside, pulling the opposing behemoth away from the basket and opening up driving lanes. This leads to the second force, the global player. The game was no longer just an American affair. An influx of international talent, raised in different systems with different fundamentals, brought new perspectives. European bigs like Dirk Nowitzki and Pau Gasol were skilled shooters and passers first, brawlers second. They provided the blueprint. Combine the analytical demand for the floor spacing with the supply of a versatile international talent, and the old positionless walls came tumbling down. The prototype for the modern NBA player was born. Tall, long, athletic, and most importantly, skilled. They must be able to dribble, pass, and shoot regardless of their listed height. This brings us to today's landscape. You mentioned it perfectly. A lot of players, regardless of size, want to do the same thing. Dribble, drive, and shoot threes. The emphasis on the three-point shot, combined with the style of play that often prioritizes individual creation over set offensive plays, has led to a certain homogenization of skills. Fundamentals like post, footwork, and mid-range pull-ups are, for some young players, becoming a lost art, replaced by the gravitational pull of the three-point line. But young players need to realize that quote-unquote lost art of the mid-range game will elevate your game above your peers if you lock in and master it. Look at Kobe, look at Iverson, look at Jordan, look at KD, look at T-Mac, look at Melo, look at all the best scorers that ever played the game. Killer mid-range games. But back to this evolution of the NBA player. The examples are breathtaking. I just mentioned them a second ago. Look at KD, Kevin Durant, a 7-foot scoring champion, 4-time scoring champion, let's get it right, with the handle and shooting touch of a guard. Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 6'11" physical force who initiates the offense and guards all 5 positions. And the new generation, Victor Wembanyama, and Chet Holmgren. Maybe even throw Cooper Flag up in there. Wemby is the ultimate embodiment of this trend. A guard's game in the center's body, with the wingspan that makes him a defensive cheat code. Chet, while a lot slimmer, is a fantastic rim protector and a confident three-point shooter, shattering the idea that a center must be bulky to be effective defensively. Which leads us to our final and most fascinating question. How long will this prototype last? Is it here to stay? The answer is nuanced. The genie of positional versatility is not going back in the bottle. The game is faster and more spaced than ever before, and that's a product of rule changes and stylistic evolution that favors this model and favors offensive players and favors more scoring overall. The demand for players who can switch defensively and create mismatches offensively is permanent. However, basketball is a game of counterpunches, and the greatest counterpunch to the positionless three-point heavy era might be staring us right in the face. Nikola Jokic. Jokic is a fascinating anachronism. He's not a high flyer. He doesn't stretch the floor in the traditional sense of a dead-eyed three-point shooter, though he is very capable. He wins his third MVP by being the most dominant low-post force since Shaquille O'Neal, combined with the passing vision of a Magic Johnson. He dominates the paint. He kills you on the block, and he orchestrates the entire offense from there. His success is a powerful reminder that efficiency isn't only about three-pointers. It's also about guaranteed 2 points in the paint and generating wide-open shots for others through post-gravity. So will young bigs notice this? Will we see a renaissance of the true center again in the future? I believe we may see a synthesis. The future is not a return to the plodding big men of the 90s, but the emergence of a new hybrid. The next generation of giants will be inspired by Jokic's post-dominance, Embiid's face-up game in the mid-range, and Wembanyama's perimeter skills. The ultimate player of the future won't just be a tall guard. He will be a versatile weapon who can choose his method of destruction. He will have the post fundamentals of Hakeem, hopefully, the passing of Jokic, and the three-point range of KD. We see glimpses of this in players like Joel Embiid, who can score from anywhere on the court. The league is cyclical. The three-point revolution was a counter to the packed paints of the past. The next counter may be a wave of skilled physical bigs who can punish small defenders in the post, forcing teams to once again prioritize size and traditional post defense. It can set off a domino effect, a new golden age of centers. For now, we are in the era of the unicorn. We are witnessing the careers of players like Victor Wembanyama, whose potential seems to rewrite the rules of what is possible on a basketball court. How his career and the careers of Cooper Flag and his peers play out will ultimately write the next chapter in this incredible evolution. The NBA player has evolved from a specialist to a generalist, from a cog in a machine to a multi-tooled Swiss Army knife. The journey from the painted area to the three-point line has been a revolution in athleticism, strategy, and skill. And the most exciting part is that the evolution is far from over. Let me know what y'all think. What y'all think about this evolution of the NBA player, man? What you think about the timeline of it, the overall organic warping of the NBA player into, different skill sets, different sizes, shapes, whatever. Where do you think this is gonna go? Tap in, comment, share, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, man. Hype me up, hype me up. You gotta hype me up. Once again, it's your boy Nicky P. This is Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops. And until the next time, peace.